I would have done this earlier, but I wanted to wait for Grasshopper Manufacturers Direct to happen so I could see Suda51 not announce their next game in whatever fashion he chose to. That's done. Good job. And now, officially, the Summer Game Fest season ends right now. Whether you call it Naughty 3 or Summer Game Fest, the Christmas in June season for enjoyers of video games has officially wrapped up, and sentiment online seems pretty positive. It seems like this is one of the stronger years of a summer E3 replacement, especially compared to where we started back in 2020 with attempts at this and, showcases that were going 3 hours, 4 hours, lasting the entire calendar season. In other words, on the Jeb Bush scale, I think we've officially crossed that barrier with Summer Game Fest as a brand shifting from it's so over to we're back. As one of the aforementioned enjoyers of games, and more specifically enjoyers of press conferences, I wanted to sit down today to talk briefly with you about my 3 big takeaways from Summer Game Fest 2023, the whole event, not just Keighley show. Yeah. Number 1, Ubisoft. Ubisoft is an interesting publisher when we look specifically at their game output the last few years. It's turbulent, to say the least. When EA and Activision were faltering in the last generation with games like Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Kevin Spacey Call of Duty, Ubisoft was out here reinventing Assassin's Creed and creating one of the most fun cooperative open worlds I've ever played with Ghost Recon Wildlands. And hell, they even managed to launch one of the more successful live service Destiny competitors with The Division and The Division 2. And Ubisoft is kind of in a place where poor decision after poor decision since the end of the PS4 cycle, pretty much after Assassin's Creed Odyssey until now, they've kind of lost favor in many aspects, but specifically with their games. But all the games they showed at their showcase looked good, right? Avatar, Far Cry, Star Wars, an Assassin's Creed with assassinations, Prince of Persia, Ubisoft. Woo-hoo! Number 2, JRPGs equals excitement. Out of the 3 main shows, PlayStation, Keighley, and Xbox, time was taken out of the presentation to highlight a role-playing game from Japan. In the case of PlayStation, it was Final Fantasy 16. With Keighley, it was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and 3 separate Atlas games at Xbox, in addition to a brand new Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth teaser. Now, in the case of PlayStation, it is interesting because Final Fantasy 16, despite carrying the first half of their year, and really half of their year overall in terms of exclusive AAA huge releases, it wasn't that exciting in the context of that specific showcase because it was a known quantity. We all know 16 is going to be one of the best games of the year. Maybe one of the best games in quite a while. If the demo was anything to go by, hot damn. But it was a known quantity, and we were all waiting for the other known quantity, Spider-Man, to show up already. And it's surprising to me that they allowed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to not have a presence at their showcase. But they also allowed Spider-Man 2's release date to not be there, so who knows what Jim Ryan's thinking. And you could say PlayStation already has an imminent Final Fantasy game they want to market and associate with their console. Rebirth can get hyped up, but in the meantime, 16's time to shine. And I would say sure, but this is Square Enix, and they still showcased both. So weird choice, and I do think that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer would have elevated PlayStation's C- being generous showcase up to at least a B+. Keighley, though, closed out the show of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, announcing it as the rumors were true. You've been waiting for this. We're returning to a legendary world. We're so honored to get this. And the excitement clearly worked. I do think it's weird to have split it off from the rest of the Final Fantasy VII news at that show, but ending on the next chapter of this saga was clearly the right move. Just look at how the crowd reacted when they thought they were about to see Rebirth.
Now, speaking of Final Fantasy, no. Today during Summer Game Fest, DoorDash has your back. You can get a free burrito.
Xbox is in an unfortunate place when it comes to this due to no fault of their own. If you're unfamiliar, The Atlas Instagram account accidentally posted the announcement trailers for Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica, one of which surely would have gotten a much larger pop had it not have leaked. But in a weird, roundabout, inadvertent way, the leak kind of helped the excitement factor of a JRPG, at least for me, because nobody expected a third Atlas project to show up there, let alone the next project from the minds behind Persona 5, a new original IP with Metaphor Refantasio. Refantasio? Refantasio. Takeaway 3. Xbox One. This showcase was honestly Xbox's to lose. Everybody was saying it, and they've been in this scenario before, and we can never underestimate their ability to mess up a layup. Especially though with how poorly PlayStation Showcase was received. This year, the wiffle ball was on the tee, on home plate. And thankfully, they swung hard and did not whiff. I think the Xbox Showcase on its own still would have been really good, with updates on games like Fable, Forza, Sea of Thieves, Hellblade 2, Avowed. These were all things we were waiting on updates for. And I threw Sea of Thieves in there because we got the Monkey Island thing. Nobody really expected a second Pirates of the Caribbean style crossover, at least I didn't. Plus, brand new first-party IP from inXile, Compulsion, plus the previously mentioned JRPGs, and Redfall was not whispered once. But then, they went on to give what I am crowning the greatest video game demonstration of all time. Congratulations to Todd Howard and the team at Bethesda Game Studios for presenting Starfield, winning this award from the previous holders, Todd Howard and the team at Bethesda Game Studios, for their demonstration of Fallout 4. The E3 2015 showcase of Fallout 4 has, since I've seen it, been my gold standard for presenting a video game at a summer gaming conference. And to their credit, many places have tried to reach the same heights as that presentation, getting in-depth with a stage demo. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake had a great attempt at this. But they've not quite succeeded Fallout from that amazing presentation that happened all those years ago. This Starfield one trounced that. Much like Starfield, this presentation was classic Bethesda, just bigger, better, and more confident. And what other tone can you even bring to this? There's an absurd amount of pressure on this game to save Xbox, to redefine a genre the way Skyrim did 12 years ago. Starfield Direct elevated this year's Xbox show from the greatest Xbox presentation to legitimately one of the strongest not E3 conferences I've ever seen. You could also call it, I guess, the best Summer Game Fest conference, because it clearly is. Get 2 awards out of this show, Todd. Now, I'm not going to say tides are turning or anything that hyperbolic just yet. There's still a wide gap between public perception of who is winning in the eyes of the gamers. But when you compare specifically the PlayStation Showcase of 2023 to this Xbox Showcase and look at them as promises of the future, it is a stark difference from what PlayStation did well in the PS4 generation and to what Xbox has needed to do well for a very long time. It's hard not to believe in Starfield, for me at least, and the slate of first-party single-player titles that Xbox announced today, especially comparing to the very uneven showcase of PlayStation's lineup with a lot of focus on live services, an incredible one coming from Bungie, and Spidey. That's all for Low Poly this week. I'll see you next time. Now welcome to the Low Poly Extended Showcase. This is where things get a little more casual, a little cash Friday for you. Here are some rapid fire games that impressed me with an arbitrary score awarded to them. Sonic Superstars, the second best chili dog you've ever had in your life. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, all too well 10-minute version performed live. That Like a Dragon trailer just hanging around while Ichiban is butt naked that took a page out of the James Cameron book of letting a scene breathe just cuz. 10 out of 10. Bungie's Marathon, continuing the trend of Bungie making the greatest video game trailers of our day. Fuck yeah, dude.